everybody. We're here to Let's Talk About It show. Let's give it up. Do we have any claps today? We got Smooth P in the house tonight. He's filling in for his lovely wife, the super producer, who couldn't be here tonight. But listen, I'm Black Ops.
Hey, this is Wonder.
And it's the specialist, Dean Geronimo. Give us a call and let's talk about it. 646-233-1302.
Listen, we have a fun-filled, exciting show. It's been a minute since I've been here, so I'm going to take some time and say hello to everyone. So I'm going to start here, John. I'm going to come back and see my man, Wonder, here. So what's been going on? Dean Geronimo.
Not much. You know what?
Wait. Give me the full title again because you got like 10 of them.
It's the specialist, Dean Geronimo.
All right, so we going with
That's what it is this week. That's what we're doing this week.
All right, I know it switches up from time to time. Specialist, what we got, specialist?
No, you know what? I was looking at this thing on the news, man. It was talking about the Treasury Department, and the watchdog says it will look into the redesign of that $20
I mean, how
bill.
you doing?
Oh, you talk about me?
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm still hanging on like an old loose tube, dog. You know what I mean? I thought you meant jump right in. You know what I mean?
No, I was good.
It's been a while since I've been here, too.
I know. I see that.
So
but I had
like Old Man River, dog.
All right, how the wife doing?
Everybody's doing all right.
You know how they say that outside?
Still being bossed around by the grandbaby.
Listen, don't get.
I was
about to say, don't get too tough with me because I know boss lady. Sit tight, young boy.
She only 2.5 years old. Like,
all right.
But everything's all right on this end. Hanging on like an old loose tooth.
Okay.
You know
and I like the bracelet, right? My LB, right? Root to the Q's?
Yeah, dog. Root to the Q's is a little something. My wife made them, man. Exclusive gems for you. So.
Wait, who made that?
My wife
Boss
made it.
lady.
Dr. Diamond made that,
I
man.
know
Put
she
it
did.
out there. Yes, she did.
Listen, so you got
yes,
to like hold your right wrist up?
Look, get you one of these.
Right.
Exclusive gems for you, y'all. Y'all check it out. Nice beaded joints.
All right, but my point is, let me lift my right arm up. Hey, Wonder, you see a purple bracelet?
Yeah, it's right there. It's
any-
right there. It's imaginary. It's just on
My
the thing.
feelings are hurt. What's up with that? Oh my God! Wait till I see Monique. Like, I don't want no trouble. I'm just saying. Hey, what's his name? Where you at? I'm saying I don't want no money.
You don't want no trouble.
Bro, but I do want one of them bracelets.
All right,
like,
I tell her-
you got a
I
couple
let her
at the
know.
house?
No, she just made this joint for me, dog.
All right, because I was gonna say that's probably gonna be on my wrist after the show. All right. Anyway, good to see you, man. Wonder what's good, man.
What's good, man?
How
Good
you
to be
been,
here.
brother?
I'm good, man. I can't complain. You
How
know,
life treating you well?
Life is treating me well. No complaints. It's summertime.
No, I
You
was
know?
gonna say that because you for some reason wonder. Like the weather in the wintertime is always whooping your ass. You always
It
get
is.
caught up.
Yeah, I get
in
jammed
that.
up.
You doing the what is it?
Traffic
Facebook Live and shit. Like help
Yeah,
me, I'm
yeah.
caught.
Yeah, man.
Where's Wonder at?
But I'm here, man.
All
I'm
right.
here, ready to go.
And listen, we still gotta make our way to the city. I didn't forget about the dashikis,
do
man. So we gotta make a move.
This
and I'm
is
a
Dashiki,
Dashiki.
man.
Web. Listen, no.
Yeah.
I gotta go into the city, my city store, right? And then we'll get
Okay.
started, everybody. Listen. So I had to, I do a little bit of everything. So I had to go to New York, see a talent agent, the whole niner, like, hey, Sean, come in. Right. Anyway, so knowing that I grew up right outside the city, I know how to get in and out on the train, how to move. And the worst thing you really want to do is take your car in the city, right? But I knew I was hip for time, right? So I had to drive my car in the city. Listen. So I go GPS, and I know better. How many times growing up have we just simply gone through the Lincoln Tunnel and either went left or just made your way into Manhattan, right?
Right.
So my GPS for some reason says, Sean, listen, I know you've done this ride 1,000,000 times, right?
That's right.
I need you to go through the Holland Tunnel. Right?
3 days later.
Right.
3 days later, you come on the other
Smooth P's
side.
eyes, if you guys can see it, just went like, what?
Dog, you better
Listen.
take a snack box.
Right. Listen, by the time I
Everything.
got to my location, I was green. I was like Hulk smash. I could not believe that. It took me forever to get to it. 45th and 6th Ave. 6th Ave and 45th. Knowing that if you come up out of Penn Station, you right there. All you got to do is walk. And it was killing me because I knew that. Right? So no, it gets better. Right? It gets better. So now I have to find what? Parking.
Yeah.
Right? So, right.
Yeah.
The true in me, the street guy in me was like, you know what, man? Just illegally park. Just go for it, right?
You don't want to do that.
Let's go.
They'll-
No.
As soon as you get out, they'll just take it on
Right.
with you.
No, listen, so what they call them? The meter maze, what they call? The
Yeah.
meter, like, so I didn't realize that they shift blocks. Like they
Right.
do a handoff. They go up and then they shift back.
Right.
So the guy comes up to me, right? And he sees me getting out the car. He goes, bruh, listen. He was like, I'm telling you, you shouldn't park that car.
Don't even
Right
don't even do
there.
it to yourself.
Right.
Before it
Right.
disappears.
We're not going to get into the make. We're not going to get into the model. We're not going to get into any of that.
Right.
But he simply said, you don't need to park that car right here. He's like, you're asking for it. He said, I can guarantee you. Right. He said, 2 things are going to happen. He said, we are going to give you a ticket. He was dead serious.
Right.
Right. And he said, and we're going to put a boot on your car, and it's going to be $500. He said, I guarantee you that. He said, I'm going to let you go. He said, I like you. Seem like a nice guy. He was straight up New Yorker. He said, but I got to move up a block in like 5 minutes. That's how we do it. We shift up. I think they said they go all the way up, then they cross the street, and then they shift down. Then they come back, they shift over and go all the way up. So now I got to find parking, right? Sweets parking garage, 2 hours, right? I had to go in there, I had to talk to the talent coordinator.
Like $40, something like that.
$50 cash.
Yeah.
We don't want
Listen.
credit
Right.
card, nothing,
Not
dog.
right.
Listen, my feelings were hurt. Hurt. I'm digging in my pocket like, no, I wasn't ready, right? And then I got the Spanish dude like, Papa, $50. If credit
We
card is
need that
55,
now.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, let me get that. And I
Bro, you
looked-
got to download Spy Hero on your phone, Jack.
no,
Find
I'm
that
just,
shit in advance. and
Listen, I'm
keep
just
it
learning
moving.
about what is it, Turo and all this other stuff. But John, listen, and I know where part of Virginia you from?
Petersburg.
See you right here. These two, Smooth P and Wonder, looking at me like, why didn't you just catch a train in the Penn Station and walk 4 blocks? You know what I mean? Like, my feelings, right, a lot of money. So I was like, yo, you have got to be kidding me, man. Got to be kidding me. But in the end, I got signed, so I'm happy. So like, I guess it was worth it. All right. So listen, we're gonna go into the Black Ops. Let's keep it real moment. We got a guest is gonna be calling in here about 7:20, 7:30.
Yeah.
All right. And a phenomenal young lady. Can't wait to get on there and go from there. But my keep it real moment. 2 things, and we were talking to. It was me and Dean Geronimo and Smooth P before Wonder walked in. We were talking about the DR. So let's just keep it real a little bit. Listen, it's time. Listen, I don't have any stake. This does not go against anybody from the DR or anything like that. As we were talking, they're not discriminating against Americans right now. Keep your ass out the DR
Yeah.
for right now. Let's just keep it real. I don't care if they said, listen, the trip ain't gonna cost you nothing. The only thing we want you to do is come
Let's
over.
get over here.
Right.
Nah, that's
I'm
a
not
car
going.
pass.
Right? I can
I'm
never
not
forgive
going.
myself if something happened to a family member. So needless to say, we're changing that trip that we're going to take care of. That's not a good time. And it's just the climate that's set. I think it's a byproduct from our administration that we have in here. Like it's open season for us. So
Yeah, also, actually, to piggyback off of that a little bit.
we got Smooth P in the house?
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
going to chime in a little
All
bit
right.
today. What people don't realize is they don't really care for us over there anyway. If you know the climate of how they treat the Haitian citizens who are
Right.
over there.
Oh, that's right
you
on
know,
that.
So,
right,
so
right,
it's been like a lot of turmoil already going on over there.
Right.
Besides the fact of the tourism
Right.
part of it,
Right.
how they treat the Haitians, they beat basically they I forgot how many they've taken their citizenship away from them.
right.
Haitians,
kicked all of them out.
Haitians who were born there,
Right.
they're kicking them out of the
And saying,
country, saying
right.
you no longer have
Go back
have-
across the fence.
exactly have
Right.
status
Pretty
here.
much. Yeah.
So
Pretty much.
I mean, probably not the best place to go patronize anyway with the way that they treat us.
Sure. And again, and like we were saying, staying on a resort, whether you go off or on, there's still like those challenges there.
Yeah.
There is. So I'm not going to the DR. Last time I went to the DR was, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago. I had a good time when I
So
went,
good.
but the climate was a little different. Somebody wasn't in office. I'll just leave it
Exactly.
there with that. And then my second thing here I got to talk about is, just to keep it real, is Kevin Durant. I got to talk about Kevin Durant real quick because it's the difference between like 50 million and not 50 million. Like, I can't fathom like that decision. I know for me, if I have a championship ring, I know I'm going to the Hall of Fame, right? He's going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He has the ring, the MVP. He has everything that he needs, right?
What's he got? 1 or 2 rings?
Two.
2.
He's got 2 rings?
Right.
Okay.
For me, it wouldn't even matter at this point. Because you could look at Charles Barkley and say, hey, what's your biggest wish? A ring. 1.
I had
Right?
this conversation
1.
this week, yeah.
Right? He has 2. So at this point, it becomes your
Some
legacy. Go
Some
ahead.
say though, some will argue that he did a sucker move.
Zero argument. Because you'll see, I even see memes out there with him and Kawhi, like, but getting ready for next season.
You know, and I'm not a basketball aficionado, but
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised had he stayed with the Thunder. They had a squad, man.
Yeah. Right.
That's when what's my man Harding was there.
Yeah. He never catches flack for leaving the Harden does.
Right,
Yeah,
No, he doesn't.
Yeah,
but
right.
he didn't go to he didn't go to like this dream team. when
Right,
he
right,
left.
right.
But had they stayed together, I think they would have won a championship.
Sure.
You know, but he went, and now this guy Kawhi Leonard, like you can honestly say that this man took Toronto.
He was
put it
banished.
on his
Let's
back.
be real.
Shoulders.
He was banished to Toronto.
Yes, he was.
That was a banishment.
from
That
San
was a
Antonio.
right. That was a banishment.
and put that team on his back.
Right.
I mean, they got some key players though. They
Right.
had some diamonds in the rough
Yes.
there.
Jeremy
Yeah.
Lin got a ring. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
For you New York fans out there, Beeb, if you
Yeah,
watch it,
exactly.
like I know you'll take it when you can get it. Right?
But Kevin Durant is. I mean, I like Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
I like him as just a.
Yeah,
You know, he's a
yeah,
good.
yeah.
He's a good young man.
yeah.
But I'm just saying, some people. I don't personally. I really don't. You know, whether he left or not. You know, it makes no difference.
So
to
let me
but
say
some
this.
people make
Right.
that argument.
All right, so you do the Let's Talk About It show, right? We've won, I don't know, Tony, Emmy, whatever the hell it is, and you know now I don't know, pick a radio search, 97 point whatever wants you, right? But Storm Norm comes out and says, "Hey, Wonder, you've been here for years. Like we got these awards. Here's another on top of the max. I can give you another $50 million, right? You go to New York, you hear for an additional $50 million on top of what is offered. How do you answer that? Ask me the question. Ask me that question right now.
Well,
We said I'm
Well-
staying.
well.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad situation.
Yeah,
Like
see, I was
it's
gonna
not
say,
toxic.
I would
Right.
definitely have to
Right.
do some research before I just jump out the window.
Right.
You know, because I need to know, like, is there a safety net? Like, what's the
It's
catch?
that's
22?
that's guaranteed
Guaranteed money.
That's a guaranteed contract that he's going to get $250 million.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah,
and there's nothing broke. There's no pieces leaving.
Yeah.
There's the
Yeah,
only
then I
reason
would
why.
leave.
Right. I would just be like, hey,
I would leave.
you would leave, or would you stay here for 50 with additional $50 million?
Oh wait, you saying
Yeah,
here?
stay-
the
yeah,
additional
yeah.
$50 million?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought you
I'm
meant
staying.
there.
No, here for the
No,
additional.
I would stay here.
Exactly.
I would stay here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't like all this high seas drama. Like this would be me on ESPN. Like, let me get a viewing audience. This would be me on ESPN. Hogs, are you leaving? No.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the entire
Interview over.
And you
That's
know,
the entire
hit him.
conversation.
the other piece
Hit him with the
is
Marshawn
Andre.
Lynch joint.
What's his name?
I'm just here, so I
Andre
get fired.
Iguodala.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's his name, right? Andre.
Yeah, he has two
Iguodala,
rings.
yeah.
He was
Yeah.
he was on the Breakfast Club a couple of mornings ago, and he talked about, and I think he put it in his book. I heard his book is pretty good, where he gives a lot of insight in the inside of the basketball players. And one thing that he touched on is that their agents will come to them from time to time and say, "Hey, look, the season's about to end.
Yeah.
You got to score at least 39 points to average 20 points, and we can get you an extra $5 million in your contract."
Right.
So there's these other things that are at play that
Right.
we really don't hear or know or see. Like if you get 5 blocks, that's an additional this, additional that. So with Kevin Durant being this, this top-notch upper echelons player, he probably made a smart move. People who are purists and love the game
Yeah.
probably think that he did a sucker move, but for himself,
Yeah.
he probably made a smart decision because
Right.
he got himself 2 rings.
he-
now his brand
Exactly.
Right.
is even more so up there than. So I mean, you can't blame him.
He's
for
still
what he
going to the
did.
Hall of Fame.
He's
Well, let's-
going to the Hall of Fame. Well, I
Right.
think he would have went even if he didn't go.
Right, but- right,
yeah,
right.
but yeah.
But like as Black Ops alluded to earlier, just look at how many great players that never got a chip. You got, like you said, Barkley. You got Allen Iverson.
Malone.
You got,
Malone.
Malone.
it's called exactly. I mean,
Right.
there's a laundry list of them.
Yeah.
So, do you fault him for saying, "Man, listen, these guys are good, and with me, they're going to be great"?
Right.
I know we're getting a ring if I go over there.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't even need me.
then,
I'm the icing.
Here's the thing that worked in his favor, dubiously. there was a debate on whether they even needed him or not.
Yes.
And when he got hurt,
Yeah, it showed.
it showed
Yeah.
that they needed him. Now,
yeah.
granted, there were a lot of injuries. They got far with a lot of injuries, and they already had what, 2 championships,
Yeah.
Right.
Or 1 championship before him.
Right.
So I mean, not saying that. I'm sure they would pull it together even if he never came back.
Yeah.
But
how?
they needed him for that,
Yeah,
for
how
that
is
time and
series
space.
is
For that
How
series,
old is
yeah.
Durant?
That's I'm not sure. He's
He's been in the league.
He has
He's-
some years
He's a
left
vet
on him.
now. He's a vet.
My
So-
thing is this though, like I
Uh-huh.
said about like first of all, throughout any of these deals, wherever he go, all next season he's not playing.
Correct.
So he's sitting out all next
right,
season.
right.
So
I
all
take-
this
right.
is on the table with a player
Regardless.
who won't even play
Right.
next year,
Regardless.
but will get paid guaranteed
Cheap
money.
Yeah.
Right.
That's number one.
The fact that they still want to pay me, listen, we're not talking an additional $50,
Exactly.
right? We're talking $50 million.
Million.
Take your clause argument, right? And say he doesn't hit all the marks, right? And he gets $240 million, right? I'll take the 40.
Yeah.
I'll take the additional 40.
Yeah.
It's your legacy thereafter,
Yeah.
right? Your grandchildren, your children, your grandchildren, your great grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time your grandchildren hit 21, no one's going to say, you know, there was an argument about your dad,
exactly.
your grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cares about that. He's wrote his
give a
book.
damn.
He's
Give his
commentating.
money.
He's walking around like Russell right
exactly.
now as an icon. Like, he's loved in New York. So anyway, that was my my moment here. I didn't mean to gobble up most of the
No,
time.
it's all good, man.
Yeah.
all
What you
good.
got? What you got for us, Wonder? Well, let me switch.
you know
'cause I
what? Yeah,
What
thank
you
you.
got there? You got anything for us? Wait,
You know what?
wait. Now's the time. All right, go ahead, Joe.
You know, I was just looking at this thing about the Treasury was.
Oh, we gotta go.
Oh, we
Hold
got
on.
a caller.
Is that 7?
Hey.
Yeah.
that's-
All right. All right. So we're gonna
We
take.
gonna just put that on pause and
That,
bring
that's,
it
Yeah.
I
back.
think
I-
that's Sister Shamika right there.
All right, Sister Shamika, is this you? Hello.
Karen from the Dominican Republic.
Hello.
Tank from the Dominican Republic.
Karen from Dominican.
Oh,
Hey, how you doing?
You said this is Karen from the.
Yeah,
the
she
DR?
said she got the scoop on what's going
Oh,
on.
All right, all right.
okay.
Please
All right.
share. We're welcome. What you got?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good,
Good,
Now,
how you?
who's this again? So the viewing
I
audience can
love
see.
it.
Who is it?
This is Karen Abfab.
Okay.
Hey,
all right.
Sean, class of 86.
Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? All right. Had to be somebody call me Sean. What you got, Karen? What's up?
The Dominican Republic, you guys were talking about don't go and all of that.
Uh-huh.
There was a couple of points that were made, but I wanted to speak to don't go.
Okay.
All of those there are reports that are in with the FBI for investigations on each of those deaths. People have died. People have been dying in islands on vacations forever. But the question becomes, why is it news now?
Right.
And there's no exact cause of death that is across every person that has passed away, unfortunately.
Right.
So there's a lot of different theories that are out there. I've been here since 2017, and there's hundreds of Black Americans that I've met from New Jersey to California that live here. We talk about this in our own group about it and how we're kind of disappointed because people aren't seeing the same thing. It's the same theme. It's always a distraction for something. And my theory was over 2 years ago has to do with a trade agreement that China has with the Dominican Republic. China has built an embassy here, which puts a major communist superpower close to United States shores.
Right.
In my opinion, this is what this is about. When before the trade agreement was signed, Trump, his attitude about it, and it was quoted somewhere because I read it, and he basically said he doesn't agree with it and he doesn't think it should happen. But they agreed to it because China decided that they're going to try to build a rail from the Dominican Republic to Haiti. The same thing they're doing in Africa. You get a power. We have our own president over here, which I am still an American
Right.
from the United States, so I vote in the U.S., but the president here signed that agreement. So that now they have an embassy here, and they've also relaxed the fact that Chinese are able to come to this country with more relaxed requirements to come here. Now, Sean, you are retired military. Retired military or active duty, you're really not supposed to get up communist countries.
Right.
So think about communist countries having that level of access to our borders. I can get to Florida on a flight in an hour and a half.
Right.
And that's in a regular flight. So you can imagine how fast it is on the jet.
Right.
So that's my conspiracy theory on that it has to do with much more than what you're seeing.
Well,
And yes,
of course. Right.
It's very unfortunate.
Of course.
Also, the gentleman from New Jersey that passed away, I think he was from New Jersey.
He was, yeah.
I know that was big news there. But there's some conspiracy theories here, too, because just like there, you might know somebody who lives in East Orange or lives in New York, and they from that neighborhood, so they know certain things. People know certain people who come here, and they always connected to somebody else who knows a backstory to something. And that's all I'm going to say about that. There's always another side of a story. Don't believe what the mass media tells you.
Oh, never.
Because what happens is you are being led to believe something that doesn't exist. It's like a smoke and mirror. What's really being hidden here? So, and keep in mind, I'm not the only American that lives here. There's hundreds of us. We would be on a mass exodus out of here if we didn't feel safe.
Right.
And I live in a neighborhood. Okay, so I wanted to parlay that into the Haitian immigration issue. As you know, United States has camps where they put the Mexicans and South Americans who climbed over the border and came in illegally. It's no different here.
Wow.
Dominican Republic is an independent country, so is Haiti. The United States has been sending a Cuban boat lift to pick up the Haitians to bring them there for a better opportunity. So they're climbing over the fence and they're coming over, and they are straining the economy. Now, I'm telling you the truth. One thing I love about my Haitians, them folks, man, you want something done right, you call you a Haitian. Because they speak 5 languages, and they know how to do everything, to build a house, to build a building, everything.
That's
It's not the people. It's the policy, and they have nothing to do with it. They're innocent. I live in a small village. There's only 1,000 people that live here. 10% are about 10% are Dominicans. About 10% are Europeans and Americans. And, I mean, literally, if you came to my town and you just say, I'm looking for the tall American, they know exactly who I am. Like, literally, it's that small.
Okay.
80% of the people that live here are Haitians.
Wow.
Listen.
You know where they live?
What's that?
They live in the woods.
Wow.
They live in the woods.
Yeah. No, I've seen, as they say, the third world. I'm living in Rob. Trust me, all over the planet. But Karen, I'll say this, and I do thank you for your insight. Two things I want to thank you for. First, bringing the Let's Talk About It show to the DR just goes to show you the scope of the show. With that, 2, I've known you, I think, since the 3rd grade, maybe 4th grade. Who's counting, right? We're old at this point. But I want to say, be safe.
Yes.
While you're there. I've been to countries where I know they do not like Americans, and I've been collected on. It's the game that I played when I was in special operations and in the CRW. But it's what I had signed up for at the time with that. But I do thank you for your insight, and I hope all is well. And listen, now that I know you're in the DR, when they start killing folks, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm going to come down. I'm going to say, hey, I'm looking for the tall American. Right. And then I don't have to pay for any lodging and food now, right? I'd be like, hey, Karen, it's me, girl. So, but
you have
listen,
a better chance of getting killed in Chicago. But just be cognizant, my advice would be to be cognizant of your surroundings. I lived in 7 different countries on my own dime, working for myself. So I have to respect different cultures, and I stand out because I'm 6 feet tall. I mean, I can't hide that. But one thing I would tell anybody, if you decide to come, make sure you're in the best health, and be wise. And that's for any country that you decide to go to.
Gotcha.
Hey, Sister Karen, can you spread the word out there in the DR about Let's Talk About It?
I listen to y'all all over the world.
No. Spread the word. We want you to.
I've watched. I mean, I've listened to and watched.
Right, but we want you to spread the word out there though. Tell others.
Get the others in the DR.
Because we've had. So this is the DR. We've had
into my group too.
Gotcha. We've had South Africa,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
England, like it's the show goes the world over. It just goes to show. But hey, Karen, much love from all of us here. Stay safe. We come down to if I come, I'm looking for you. I'm telling you. So now that I know you're there. So be blessed
All right.
and thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
919, y'all. Let's talk about it. State your name. Where you calling from?
Shamika Michelle, North Carolina.
Hey, all right.
right. Is
This
that
this is our guest,
All right.
Shamika
Hey, hey.
Michelle. How you doing, sis?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, all right. So listen, we have a special guest with us. You know, I'm on social media a lot, and if you frequent social media, you may have very well come across this sister Shamika Michelle, and she gives some very interesting commentary. I love it.
Okay.
I've been following her for some time now. She actually called in maybe about 2 years ago, and she called in once upon a time to kind of just, you know, give us a briefing of what it is that she does. And so, but since that time, she has she's grown. Her following has grown, and I'm just going to read her bio quickly.
All right.
Okay. So once again, this is Sister Shamika Michelle. Shamika Michelle is an author, a speaker, and personal empowerment advocate, a dedicated daughter, friend, and mother of 3. She's a political commentator for Sky News Australia.
Nice.
She's also been published in Jet and is an official correspondent for the 6 Brown Chicks featured on the Oprah Winfrey Network. Compiled life experiences led her to create Naked Girls, a group of women who live transparent lives, embraces people from all walks of life, and guides them into a space of freedom and authenticity. As a former ordained minister, Shamika has over 15 years of empowerment experience. Her honest and direct approach makes her advice simple and easy to follow. She lives to inspire others to live life authentically. Shamika Michelle can sometimes be transparent to a fault, willing to expose her deepest feelings in an effort to free not only herself, but facilitate the freedom of others. She lives by her mantra, keep it naked. All right, so once again, can we get a soul clap for Sister
No doubt.
Shamika Michelle? All right.
Thank you.
Keep it naked.
So listen, Shamika,
Naked.
you know, before you called in and before we started our show, I was, you know, kind of just talking to the brothers and just, you know, kind of giving my narrative of what I thought about you, some of the interesting stances that you take on just certain, you know, social events that are going on. And I just wanted you to, you know, speak in terms of, you know, your platform. If you could tell us a little more about your platform, about the whole movement of Naked Girls, and if you could just talk a little bit about that.
Well, Naked Girls, I started that because I just wanted people to remove the mask, live open and honest. I feel like when I was going through my divorce, people were walking around like everything was perfect, and my life was cracking like glass. So I had no one that I could reach out to, no one that I could really talk to who I felt would be honest and say, hey, I know what you're going through. Either I've been there or I've experienced some type of heartache or, you know. And I said to myself, I didn't want another woman, if I could help it, going through that without being able to reach out to somebody who could be honest with them, who could be real with them, who could remove the mask and just be naked with them. And so I started Naked Girls just as a movement for people to just, especially women, to just stop lying.
Right. To just stop lying. Right.
Don't dance around your
Lying.
worlds. Just all right.
Now, also, you know, you caught my attention because some of your commentary talking about sisters, you actually take a not so popular approach on those things that most sisters would usually galvanize themselves and kind of back each other up with certain, you know, things that are taking place where, especially where it concerns the black woman and that dichotomy with the black man. And oftentimes, I have to admit, sometimes it almost seems like you're speaking for the brothers. And that's what really got my attention. I'm like, she's actually saying something that brothers would say in their own defense, but it adds more validity because this is coming from a sister.
Right.
And so would you speak on that? I mean, and there are a number of things that you have talked about, but would you talk about, just this unique stance that you take from time to time?
Well, I think for one, you have a lot of women that are walking around because for so long we've been treated like our shit don't stink. I'm sorry if I'm not supposed to say that
That's
word.
okay.
We've been walking around like that because that's how it's been passed down. Everything a man does is wrong, wrong, wrong. And women have learned this bad behavior to me where we don't take accountability. And so if we don't take accountability for the things that we know that we do wrong, I feel like there can never be this coming together that needs to happen, especially in the black race between the black man and the black woman. Mm-hmm. First of all, women, not only does our shit stink, we're stinking up the whole place. So my whole thing is just for women, as I said, to remove the mask, stop lying, and to realize we do make mistakes. We need to learn just like everybody else. We need to learn how to say, I'm sorry. We need to learn how to say, I didn't need to talk to you like that. We need to learn how to shut up sometimes. We need to learn how to stop tearing men down. So it's a lot of things that we need to take ownership of and take responsibility for so that the healing can begin. If we're constantly just pointing the finger, nobody is wrong all the time, just like no one is right all the time. But I think for so long, women have just had this feeling that, we're never wrong, and that's not true. And somebody has to speak out against that because, there has to be a real healing, and there can never be a real healing without honesty.
Right. So I'm going to jump in here because I just literally fell in love with you on air in the space of she spoke for 4 minutes, and I'm already like, my car's packed and I'm on my way to North Carolina. No, but what I see, and this is what I always say in an established relationship. I'm nobody in the big picture. It's just my 2 cents. Hell, call it one. But like you said, the ebb and flow and the ability to say, you know what, I'm wrong. Sometimes in relationships, weeks, days, months, rumor has it, can go, and you can carry a grudge because you were wrong and you never admitted you're wrong. Like that communication piece. They always say the drinking of the Kool-Aid. Well, I think if you haven't already, maybe some of that Kool-Aid you should put into a book. And maybe there's some like-minded folks out there. I mean, you never know how big your Kool-Aid, if you will, or your book will become. And it's a hard conversation that needs to be had. And a lot of times, and I tell my son this, my son's almost 6'2", athletic kid, etc. But I always tell him, I say, hey, you're a young black male in this country. I said, once you do get into your relationship, the last thing you want to have to do is walk in your own home and have to take on the enemy within. That should be your sanctuary when you walk in there. It should be a place of peace. So if, there are women with your mindset, just like there should be men with that mindset who are willing to say, I'll meet you halfway, that to me would speak volumes in a home. It would keep things tranquil, but it's not. And we're used to the common beast. He said, she said, you said, I'm right, you're wrong, I don't care what you're saying. And 8 times out of 10, they go in at it on social media, right? Their position. So maybe some of your message as well needs to go on that forum on social media. So maybe it starts a conversation. Again, I'm nobody. That's just my 1 cent. So, all right. Good stuff, though.
Indeed.
Definitely. And I do have a book, and I'm working on the second one. I'm actually working on 2, but I think one needs to go definitely is more important than the other one. and it is Confessions of a Broken King. And what I want to talk about is the fact that, you know, you hear so much about how daddies leave daughters and daddies don't do this and daddies don't do that, but we never really hear about the issues when the mom is not doing what she's supposed to do, when the mom has, you know, when females have broken the king. We never hear about that, because all of these men, if we think, you know, we say men ain't nothing or whatever, well, how did they get there? How did they get to that point? A lot of times it's because women have not done right by them. The same way we like to point the finger at men and say, oh, men don't do this and that. You have women who don't do this and that, and you never hear that story. It's almost as if it is taboo to say this woman did something that she should not have. But I've run into a lot of men who have been broken by women.
And right, listen, and there's some men out there. Listen, let me just give my resume just a little bit. I'm not going to go all into it, right? But I will say I became a father at a very young age, right? And since that day, I've been in the life of my oldest daughter and my kids and now grandkids, right? I've gone to school, self-made guy, through the military, etc. Listen, and I wouldn't ask my wife, girlfriend, whatever you want to call a significant other, listen, you don't have to bow down and kiss the ring. I'm just simply saying, realize that when you, as you're alluding to, when you have like sound structure in your life, a hardworking man, whether it's blue collar or white collar, appreciate that moment. I don't need to walk in the door and you have rose petals down, but if you want to, that's okay too. But for you to come up to me, give me a kiss and say, hey, I'm here. Let's leave the world outside and let's come in and let's make some beautiful music, if you will, within the home. Like, if that could be embraced, like that right there. So you do have a lot of hardworking men out there. Everybody wants to toss the brother that's in jail under the bus. There's a story behind there, too. So, I mean, there's a lot of things to be looked at, but you're absolutely right.
And also, if I could, Dean Geronimo, you had anything you wanted to?
You know what? I just was curious as to what kind of feedback have you received, because your view is nothing wrong with it, and most people can't handle an unconventional way of thinking.
Well, so it varies, you know. I think I do have people that appreciate it, but then there are also those that, you know, will try and curse me out. I don't read a lot of the feedback, honestly, because I want my commentary to be genuine. You know, while I feel like I'm very resilient and I feel like I would push forward, I never want to be in a position where I'm too stuck on people's opinion, whether they like me or whether they hate me. So I don't read a lot of the feedback because I just, as I say, drop it like it's hot. You either agree or you don't, you know. But I say it and I keep moving most of the time.
Okay.
You know, the thing that I like about this, the thing that I like about your commentary is that it definitely brings balance. And the reason I say that, again, is because it speaks volumes when it comes from a female perspective, yet it's not the norm. It's not what you would normally hear. And I say that because I think part of the problem with black folk is that when it comes to the genders, we are very divided. You know, there's a wedge. We're attracted to each other. As Sister Shahrazad Ali would say, we're okay when we're lying down together. It's when we stand up, when we start having beef with each other, right? So part of us moving forward, along with a myriad of other things to do as people, but one thing we have to get together is unity between ourselves. And one thing we have to also be unapologetic about is black love and black romance. You know, it seems like, you know, when you talk about things like that, and you get it from a lot of sisters, like, there's nothing wrong with swirling it. You can love anybody. And I get that. But I think that if we could really bring back also just a traditional, just black love, it's not hating other people, because that's immediately what we think of, but just men and women, black men and women uniting. Because guess what? Under certain conditions, not that long ago, when we didn't have the option to go running and frothing at the mouth at
Right.
other, white chicks and
Right,
white boys, we
right.
had no choice.
Right.
We had no choice. And the other piece to that is when you have sisters like this is what inspires men to even do better. When you hear commentary like that, because it's not like she
not
has
putting
anything to
anybody
gain.
down.
Right. She's not putting
it's
anybody
actually-
down, and she doesn't have anything to gain. If anything, she
Right.
has more to lose because she's taking criticism
Well,
because
that's
they feel she
people
should
won't
take on a
get out of
different
their
narrative.
feelings.
Right.
And people think that being unified means thinking one singular thought.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they don't respect the, hey, what about this? What about this? And they're like, oh no, we need to all think this one thing.
It's room for everything.
And that's why
It's room for everything.
we're still in one place, because they won't listen to the, hey, did you think about this? Did you think, and accept it, put it together, come to a compromise. That's the only way relationships work anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's no blaming. When you get to blaming, as has been done before on either side,
Right.
it breaks it up and spreads us out.
So I have to take another perspective. Like I said, I'm always this panoramic thinker like this. I don't know, but I have to say this, right? And I think I don't know if it lends to your position, but to the discussion that it does. So there's a thing like black women are killing the game right now, literally killing the game.
As far as
business, there's in general, like this young lady right here, like they're coming up, and so there's this dichotomy. There are some black women out there, so it's been noted, posted, like you try and approach them. Now they're like, well, you're not good enough for me. I need X, Y, and Z in order for you to approach me. I have these degrees, this stature, and that. But in the same breath, there are a lot of good black men out there, if you will, who are just hard working, roll up my sleeves type of individuals out there. And so to bridge that gap, as you're saying, there has to be an understanding that a good man, whether you're degreed up or whether you're driving for New York, New Jersey Transit, police officer, IT worker, that you can build a home together regardless of profession.
Right.
But I keep seeing this, the arguments out there now, the professional black women, they should, listen, no one's taken away from that.
Right.
But understand, build your home together
But
regardless of
can I-
avocation. Go ahead.
Can I add something to that? And Shamika, I'll ask you to jump in with this. I've told this story. I've given this example often. Also, what we need to understand, and I know a lot of sisters do not like hearing this because they think I'm trying to make a crutch or a case for black men. I remember me and this young lady who I used to date in high school, we dropped out of high school around the same time. I had no high school education. I could barely, the only jobs I could get was at McDonald's, Wendy's, stuff like that, maybe a factory job. She actually was able to get jobs filing, administrative assistant. She actually went back to the high school that she dropped out of, working in the library as a file clerk, and then she began to move up the so-called corporate ladder. And my argument to her was always, but you're a woman. Not knocking you, but they're not gonna hire a dropout, some black kid off the street. But here you are, you look pretty, you're nice, and I'm not demeaning her qualities of what she has up here. She is intelligent, and she was before she dropped out. But there's a different dichotomy. Here's the thing: if you are a straight up, just like a black man, you're straight, but you're unemployed. But you get, let's say, a young sister who's unemployed, who's going to get that office job for at least? I don't know about today, but I'm talking about in the late 80s,
Right, I couldn't
early
find
90s,
a job around here back then.
early
I couldn't
90s.
find a job.
That's how it was. And she literally, and through her job, through her growth, she was able to bounce back,
Right.
get her high school diploma,
Right.
get her degrees because of the opportunities that were given her. Whereas I had to take a different route and it was longer. Now, I know that there are unique cases out there for men that,
Right.
but that was the norm. I
Right.
knew plenty of sisters who didn't finish high school but were working office jobs where, you know, but so my thing is, then you would hear this argument like, oh, well, don't blame it on the white man. If I could do it, I dropped out. If I could do it, you could do it. But that's true.
There's a
But
bit of-
but there are some different dichotomies. That's all I'm pointing out.
Right.
And because of these things that get between black men and women, this is what separates us instead of looking at the common thread that should unite us. Because guess what? You know, we're seeing acts of violence. It used to be just brothers that would catch heat. But now we're seeing acts of violence of black women, black old women, black children.
Pregnant young women.
Now is the time to close ranks among
Right.
the genders. They don't give a shit about what
Right.
what gender you are. All they see is this.
Right.
And the visceral hatred starts. So I think that, you know, black love, black unity. I think we need to hear more open, honest commentary from sisters like her. Also from a male perspective, getting on us about how we can do better with the sisters. You know, I think it just lends more credence when that narrative
Is that listen,
comes from a person that you wouldn't expect
Right.
it to. So,
Right.
Sister Shamika, what do you say about all of that? I know I rambled a lot, but
Well, I definitely think there's a difference between women and men. I mean, you take a woman says, you know, I'm having a hard time, I can't take care of my child, or she gets a check, or she gets food stamps, or and a place to stay. A man says, I'm having a hard time, I can't really take care of my child, he goes to jail. So I do
Right.
think that there is a difference, and women don't like to acknowledge sometimes the help that they have that has even pushed them forward to the point where there's this imbalance between the male and the female and the woman doing better even if she lacks or, you know,
Right.
she doesn't have the education or whatever. So, you know, I do think that we get a push forward when men are held back a lot. And that's just the truth. It is what it is. But, you know, a woman will say, you know, I did this all by myself. Well, no, you didn't. You had the help of the government. Let's be honest. You didn't do it all by yourself. You had a few steps, you know, taken for you to help you. And so then women start to, you know, look down on the man, where I just think maybe I have low standards because I say women are looking for a man that makes six figures. I'm just looking for a man that'll fart in front of me. You know, I think that it's
No,
know,
wait. Let me
Keep
stop
it
you.
naked,
Let me stop you right
I ain't
there.
mad
You
at
have
it.
no
I'm not
idea.
a bunch of men
No,
fell
no.
in love with it just
No,
now.
no,
Just for
right.
saying
Get
that,
a
right?
thousand
You have
friend
no
requests right
idea
now.
how. And I've said this to my son before. I said, you'll know when a girl really loves you because she'll pass gas in front of you. And my son always says, "What?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, she'll fart." So
And not apologize.
That means
she's
either.
comfortable.
Right.
Exactly.
and she
Yeah,
gonna
I
look over you
dated
and
a
say,
guy
"Hey,
for
go get me some
2.5
soda."
years. I never heard him pass gas.
Wow.
And,
Really?
you know, people think that that's crazy, but to me, he just had this idea of wanting to look perfect. I don't want somebody that's perfect. I want somebody that's willing to show how imperfect they are,
Right. Be
but
human.
that they are
Be
trying to, you know, get better. That's what we're all doing.
Right.
And there's no better way than to pass gas to show your imperfection, right?
Right.
Or no,
Let it all out,
or
Jack.
listen,
Make
or
sure you got
listen, or when
incense.
your girl says, "Listen, I need you to go to the store and get me the maxis," right?
Yeah.
That's the
Go
equivalent
get
for the
them
guys.
joints,
The ones with the
Right.
wings.
They're with the wings. You know which ones to get,
Fellas,
right?
rip off
Or-
the top of the box
right.
and go get it, man.
If you're sick and they're holding your hair back for you as you throwing up, and they just look at you because you're right there holding them, that's all they wanted, right there. There's so much to be said about that. And you're right. Listen, because some women can get angry, like you said, in that I did this all by myself, and then they look at us like, "Hey, what's going on? And what are you doing?" And me, I know at this point, I didn't put you in that situation. I'm glad you overcame that. Congratulations.
Yeah.
But I'm an established guy too. So what are we as a couple gonna do? Like, I don't want you to keep hanging your resume over my head because I'm not hanging mine over yours. Like I'm trying, like you said, I'm trying to pass gas and eat popcorn and get it in and, laugh and joke. Like, all right, I'm glad that you could hold it down. Man, we could go on all day for this, but it's good to hear a voice. Actually, see, I thought this interview was gonna go another way. I really did.
Listen, and there's more to her. I think even in her bio that she sent us, she's being very humble, but there's much more to her. But I would encourage everybody to follow her. And before we leave, we'll let you tell us where we can find you at.
No, let's do it. We here.
Yeah.
We got
Sister
5 minutes.
Shamika, go ahead. Tell us where people can check you out at.
On Facebook, and Instagram, I'm the Shamika Michelle. On Twitter, I'm Shamika Michelle. Our website is thenakedgirls.com. And I have a book that's on Amazon called Keep It Naked, A Naked Girl's Guide to Live Life Authentically. And it's just, it's a book based on my life experiences. I call it an aggressive self-help book.
Okay.
Because I don't hold back. I don't sugarcoat anything. And I talk about everything from relationships to parenting and divorce, religion. I just put it all out there.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty much, I'm easy to find.
Okay.
And listen, we want to apologize because there was miscommunication, and I'll take the onus of that. But folks thought that you were coming in, and I wasn't clear on that, and that's why we didn't have a picture, because had they known that you were calling in, we would have had a picture that we could have posted up as you were talking. So very unprofessionally, what we did was we put your picture in front of our camera so people could at least take a look at the beautiful woman who we're dialoguing with. That's right, one. Right. And so, but we appreciate you calling in for the second time and for just giving us a little bit of who you are and allowing us to kind of pick your brain on certain subject matters. And anything closing that you would like to say? Or
I just want to say thank you for having me. Whenever you want me to come back, just let me know.
Most definitely.
I appreciate, you were one of the first shows that I did, as you said, some years ago. So I just feel that there's a loyalty there. Right. And I just really appreciate it. So whenever, you want me to come back, I will make it happen.
Okay, and listen,
really appreciate you.
One good favor deserves another, right? Return. So
right.
If you have something, we're available. We're here. Now, there is, interestingly enough, we do have another co-host. I was kind of hoping she would be here, because I think the discussion would be interesting. Yes. In all fairness. And I will say this. And I've said this in private, and I've said it in public, that ultimately with these shortcomings that we talked about in terms of the genders, especially within the black community, this is just me. At the end of the day, I usually put most of the onus on the black man, because quite frankly, we have not taken our rightful place yet. And I think once that happens, there'll be a domino effect and things will start to. Now there's plenty of blame to go around and plenty of criticism to go around, and rightfully so. And I think each of us in our own little pockets pointing out these things, we do ourselves a great service in bringing awareness, even if they don't agree with us. Mm-hmm. But me as a man, because a lot of times, and I say that because, when we see these young boys growing up today, they're very emotional. They're very, they take on feelings like, women, though they claim they're men. Mm-hmm. And then when you follow them home, it's just the mother, and she has raised this young man to be like her boyfriend or her dude, instead of, and had the father been there to put his foot in his ass from time to time. Now, now I know the dynamics.
But
it
then
varies.
she'll say she's the mother and the father.
Right,
and she'll
exactly.
celebrate those mothers.
And
Day
that
and
can't
Father's
happen.
Day.
And even if the father can't be in the house,
He can't do it.
we have to step it up to just be in the child's life. And I think if we get a little more assertive in that, we'll see a lot of this stuff subside. But I thank you so much still for
Indeed.
kicking up the banner and fighting the good fight for us. I appreciate you.
Listen, because we're gonna close out because I part of me because we got so caught up in that. It's a great discussion. I was gonna ask you on the Trump piece, but it's time for us to get out of here. I wanted
Yeah,
to
we gotta get you
understand-
back.
Right, because
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah,
understand
bring me
that.
back.
Yeah, so we're gonna wait till Miss Ellen comes in so we can really go in on that. That'll make for a great conversation. But listen, as always, we welcome any guests. We welcome folks from across. You can see from across the planet. I think the farthest we've gotten it was South Africa. New Zealand. We had somebody from New Zealand.
yeah. And listen, you can
Right.
call in anytime.
Right.
For
646,
other commentary.
Right.
So,
233-1302. You're always welcome. And we always say a lot of people get their start right here. I did. And I'll share this with the panel. Like, this was my first radio, like international radio show here. And I just recently got Google verified. That's that blue check that you get. And I know it was behind this show. Over 40 million people searched my name. Who knew?
Wow.
And I know it's behind this. So I got my start here. So big up to the CEO, Storm Norm. There's some other things I do. I'm pretty sure they went into that. But it's where you start. Look at you. You started here, and now you're on Oprah's network. I think that speaks volumes. Let's give a round of applause for that. There's a lot to it. So it's not where you start. It's the journey. But that said, listen, it's time to say goodbye. First off, super producer's not here, but we're gonna give it up for our handsome husband, Smooth P.
Smooth P.
Smooth P in the house. Let's give it up for Smooth P.
Thank you.
Salute.
And to my man, my line brother, my fellow Masonic brother, Dean Geronimo. How many names you got, dude?
I don't know. Probably about 10 or 11, bro. I have to write them down.
I'm just going to go with John. And listen, and me and Wonder, we go back to high school football.
Streets.
Streets, right? Like,
Yeah, we here,
that's
baby.
another lifetime ago. We've all changed. Let me straighten my tie out, right? Big up to the individual who makes it all happen, the CEO, Storm Norm.
Storm Norm, the general.
And as always, if there's something you want to talk about, call in, people. Let's talk about it. It's a wrap.
Oh, hold on.
What?
We'll be back July 11th.
There you go.
All right.
No,
Peace.
yeah, July 11th. I'm in
July 11th, 2 weeks from
I
now.
won't be.
Uh,
I'll be in Cancun. Wish me luck, right?
Oh, wow.
All right.
Don't drink none of that
all
liquor.
right. Good night, y'all. We'll
Peace.
see y'all later.
Good night.